All right. Well, that's the end of emails, which means we're going to segue into a short segment of Spoilercast for Expedition 33's Act 2 ending.
Spoilers start. Not now.
No. Well, you know what? Kinda. A little bit DMC Spoilercast.
A little bit of a DMC Spoilercast.
A little bit.
Not quite exactly. Yes. Expedition 33. There we go.
All right.
Starting now.
So let's just focus up. Exactly where are you at in Expedition 33?
I have completed Act 2, I have begun Act 3, and I have started doing activities around the world. I have done a couple of I've done a personal dungeon quest for one of the team members.
Is that the Reacher?
I did Lune's personal quest.
You did Lune's? Okay.
And then I fought a couple of the new super chromas around the world, and
some of them are nuts.
Yeah. So that's kind of and that's kind of the deal. So I know what's going on. We know what's going on and why we're here, and
we know what the deal is now.
Now you're just in this end game, rolling it through. And if I can say, right, okay, so one, the wild thing about Act 2 of this game, to me, we were kind of talking about it before, but it feels like as soon as Act 2 begins, Guillaume leans into the player and basically all DMC players, and he leans in and he goes, man. "Hail Hydra."
Yeah, hey man,
it is a Hail Hydra moment for Devil May Cry fans, right?
I also want to say that Gustav is my I alluded to this earlier, but it wasn't like super specific. Gustav's fake skills on his fucking skill tree is my favorite use of the interface as an anti-spoiler I have ever seen in my entire life.
I'm looking at those locked skills like, oh man.
Oh, I guess he's gonna get like a Nero power up on his arm.
Isn't that insane that they showed you a bunch of shit that wasn't like that? That's next level on it, right?
It's so amazing. It's so perfect.
Okay, so I have, so we're without doing them or whatever, I'm looking at some of these bits, and there's still mysteries I don't have, but there's some of them I'm scratching on.
You got the gist. You've got the gist of it now.
Yeah, like I'm looking at Monoko, and I'm like, I know exactly who you fucking are, right? Yeah. He goes, ow, ow, ow. And I'm like, oh yeah? You love feet, do ya?
Oh, you mean your insanely loyal companion that carries his fucking stick everywhere?
You love fighting, and you're super down to, like, you're obsessed with feet, and then you run into this side room, and we don't know much about the fucking pupper? God damn it, I'm like, of course it is. Who else would that be in that family, right? Good stuff there. You know that the Lost Odyssey vibes are immaculate when the battle theme I'm humming in my brain sounds like it's from a sequel to that game that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Unbelievable through and through. And I might have had a word or two to say, but Sirene was just...
Sirene's great.
I loved
Sirene's
it.
Great.
I just fucking loved it.
I'll tell you what, though, I'm very happy. So I did Visage first, and Visage is really cool.
Me
that
too.
sequence is really
I
really
did
cool.
Visage first as well, yeah.
And I ran into a problem with the game. So the game, there's two types of ways to do multiplication in your game. If you have a 30% damage boost and then a 25% damage boost, you can either have the character's attack be 100 and have the first number multiplied by base attack, and then the second number multiplied by base attack separately, so you have a total damage of 150% or whatever. Expedition 33 says, no. We're just going to multiply everything by everything by everything by everything by everything. So what happened is Visage got to attack me once.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and you also weaken it by doing the side stuff, right?
And so when I got to sit
I crushed it as well.
I pulled all my gear off. I pulled all of it off, and I'm like, because if I don't, I'm not gonna get to see this boss at all. And lucky me, I didn't.
And so, but the thing is we all want Balatro numbers. Balatro numbers feel good. right? But
And that's why it's so exciting when you get to the Paintress and Renoir and like stage 2, and the game goes, I am just assuming you are going to hit these guys at damage cap on every hit.
yes,
That is the assumption.
the progression knows that by the end of Act 2, they're thinking that you're swinging for 9999 on each hit, and allows the fight to balance itself around that speed. So even taking out Renoir handily, when he comes in and does shit like makes one of your team members vanish, right? Or you have the Paintress who like you struggle even hitting damage cap on her because of the way the phase works. It's well thought out, right? And then
they give you the power of breaking the cap that you can turn on and off at will, which is important because Woolie, when you go to the top of the Reacher, when you go to the Flying Manor, you put that painted power in the trash for a second, because we are talking about the difference between a damage cap number of 10,000 and a damage. My highest right now is my L hit somebody for 2.4 million.
Okay.
It's like millions.
Yeah, I hit for 1 million. I hit for 1 million on something, and I saw, I'm like, okay, because basically what happens, right, is the cap comes off and the game says, we get it, you're used to it, now go out there and re-examine everything you've got because you never found out the real numbers, right?
Yeah.
When something says 5 hits, medium damage, or 2 hits, high damage, you don't know what those actually mean.
Yeah, no, extreme damage means extreme damage.
So it's time to pull everything off and re-examine all your skills, and that's where I'm now, like, this is what's weird. As the game making me go through it to find what the real numbers are on things, feels like also, because we just fucking killed the Paintress and the whole thing went down, you're like, this is New Game Plus, right? It's like they took New Game Plus and made it part of New Game.
So it's really strange because there's the big scaffold tower on the northwest
Bloody
side
Palace?
Of the map. No, the scaffold, the one that's made out of sticks and twigs and shit.
Okay,
the one at the bottom is something called the Crows.
Oh, Crows. Yeah. Okay, I did the Crows.
Okay, so that thing's called the Reacher.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. That is the personal dungeon for Mael. So you go there and you do Mael's personal dungeon, right?
Yep.
That thing. I must assume that at one point the game had some of these things as part of its critical path, because that thing assumes you're doing 10,000 damage per hit.
Okay. Yeah.
I put on auto death bomb and nothing could have a fight with me until I hit the boss. And then if I had hit the boss with painted power on, I would have smoked it with 1 million damage and I wouldn't have fought it at all.
Lune's dungeon, her boss didn't swing. It didn't. Her boss didn't.
I just evaporated the fucking thing.
Because even if you're not doing enough damage in that first hit, you're also stealing turns because you have fucking Pictos that let you do that, right?
Then you have cheater.
You have cheater. Like I have.
I haven't used cheater.
I have it on, and I have Verso doing 3 turns in a row.
Yeah,
like
no,
I'm getting to S. And then immediately just fucking trouncing.
I have Verso right now on a build where he doesn't use his skills at all. I have Verso on a basic attack build where he just stacks infinite amounts of burn. And infinite amounts of burn with a damage cap removed is like 1 million burn damage a turn.
Yeah, okay. The hilarity of seeing that skill that's like you power up your next attack. No, it's a skill that gets boosted in damage by how many shots you took. Up to 10.
Yeah.
And you take 10 shots and use the skill and watch as like all these elaborate big animations to go like, 500,000 damage. And then this one thing is like, book, 1 million. Like, it's such a simple hit and the numbers go flying, you know? It's a real wild second or third act to this game. And you also know the deal, so you feel differently about the world. It really does just feel like a New Game Plus epilogue.
Well, the context of the world has dramatically changed. And it's like it's gone from a society crumbling to like the stakes are different in every stage of the game, and they're all about grief. Sophie's gone. I have to make sure that it was worth it. Gustav is gone. I have to make sure it was worth it. They're all gone. and none of them were real. I have to make it worth it.
Isn't it such an interesting, like, ethical bit where you're like, okay, so how are you going to choose to look at this? Because I can see where some people playing this are going to be like, oh yeah, well, who cares? They're not real, right? And like, you can do that, but it's like, these are clearly...
It's gone on for too long. It doesn't matter anymore if they're not real or not.
That the power of what a canvas is to create a world. I don't care
also,
how petty it is to you from the outside, or if you're like almost like looking at a robot and kicking it around like it's not real. These are real people with real lives over generations. It's crazy, you know?
Also, the fact that I think this game can be fairly accurately summed up. I did not come up with this. I've seen people say it, and it's so dead on. Okay. The middle child, Daryl, passed away in a tragic fire. Mom and dad are fist fighting every day over whether or not to delete his Minecraft server. like that, like it actually does have actual real life analog.
Yeah, that's
Mom
wild.
just sits around and plays Minecraft on Verso's server all day, and she's getting sick. And dad is like, we need to turn this off. And the whole fucking family is screaming and fighting and coming to fucking blows over it.
And she's just locked in there, you know. And you want to talk about those like most like Attack on Titan world shape learning the reasoning moments, because I'm like, I always wonder, I'm like, what is the aesthetic of how you've chosen to depict the Paintress and how you've chosen to depict Blagomage? And the idea of like, she is just sad and telling everyone how much time you have left because it's all I can do is fucking phenomenal, right?
So I'm holding him back over here. I'm holding him back for real.
That's all I got, right? There's still some questions I have and I want some clarification. So the role that Clea is playing is interesting, and seeing how she works into the situation, right?
She says it very directly in the flashback in Paris.
Yeah,
which is Paris.
Yeah, it's real Paris. Yeah,
and it tells you what the sequel's going to be.
So
because it's like, oh, the Writers
Guild. Yeah. So that's where I was like, oh, other expeditions. That's a dumb waste of a sequel. No.
Let's do art.
The fucking writers are out there. What are they up to? Oh, the musicians, you say, huh? What are they doing? Right.
But she says like flat out, mom and dad are fighting, and mom is always going to win because she's a better painter. But I figured out a way to stop Chroma from getting to her.
I fucked with XP share,
which is like you can like, it said a little more explicitly later, but like there's enough that me and Chad were able to figure it out then.
Oh, yeah.
Chroma gets eaten up by Nevrons, so it can't go back. So
okay, so yeah, there's a moment where you get a further part 2 of that. Like, you go to a location and you get some more context from her.
And they just tell you. They're just like, she made the Nevrons.
The Nevrons are what are keeping the Chroma from going. And that
which is why they're all different art styles. Like, all the different enemy types in the game
clashing
are from
with
different art styles.
And the stupid little tonal difference between how the sad, mourning, serious people of Lumiere and the goofy little fucking Gestrels doing cartwheels.
Okay, those were painted by a child.
And fucking Esquier is your invisible best friend.
Superman. It's my Superman
it's
doll.
So good. I'm like, of course he makes no sense. A child
He's
made him.
He's the strongest character in the world.
And he doesn't afraid of nothing.
Us. He can fly.
And
he's always there when I'm sad, and he gives me a big hug.
And Child Superman is also involved in the saddest, most tragic like moment with Ciel. And you're like, this is insane. Like, it's so good. The escalation of the story becoming this solid while enjoying the game is fucking just, I did not need the story to be as great as it is.
I've seen some folks say that they're not a big fan of how the focus goes from the people, the Lumerians, to Verso, to the family.
Okay, the change,
right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, but the people in Lumiere were not the focus. Gustav and Mael and their grief over their lives was the focus. Then it was Verso's grief over a life that he doesn't even live.
That's it.
And then it was Mael's grief over her whole family just completely falling apart and just dragging up all these little Minecraft characters in with them.
Gustav is about to give up 10 minutes in, just over being overwhelmed with loss. And remember, he's hot off of Sophie just getting fucking whooshed, right? Like that's it. That's the main character. That's the focal point. You're following that around. And when it shifts perspective and what it does to Mael's understanding of the world is super fascinating as well, right? Because you know that feeling of like, God damn it, Verso, you asshole, you're not answering stuff, but we know you're not, but right? And
because you're the worst and you're a massive liar and a complete piece of shit and a traitor.
The thing where in a lot of settings you go, you knew the whole truth all along, and your way of dealing with it was like to dance around and kind of like push people in the right direction, but not quite give them enough context, right?
Yeah, because he guards truth with lies.
And now you're kind of like, what is the conversation going to look like when you tell a bunch of people that they're quote unquote not real, right?
Yeah, no, they don't like it.
And then you do that, and they come back from death, and Ciel and Lune are like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. You should have told us, asshole.
You should have, one, you should have told us. Two, if we're not real and you can do anything, then it's time for you to start doing anything right now.
I mean, wow.
Abide by the fucking rules. Then you're going to bring my fucking parents back. You're going to bring back my fucking husband. You're going to fucking do that shit.
Like, okay, like literally, it's almost like, and what? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, okay, so what? Like, like at this point, who the fuck cares? You know? What a great response to like, ooh, you're actually, you know, like, it's just like, no.
One of my favorite things about the game.
My feelings are real. I'm here. My memories are there. I don't give a shit, man.
I'm not there yet. I beat the Reacher, so I'm a little farther. But one of the themes going on over and over and over between Renoir and real Renoir and Verso and real Verso, and Mael and Alicia who is Mael and Aline and Clay and all of them talk up why they're doing what they're doing and why it's for the right reasons and why they had to do what they do, and every single one of them is a hypocrite liar. Every single person is doing the thing that they want to do now for them.
Verso,
and then they justify it after. Every single one.
Is it someone saying it to Verso, or is he the one that says, you're doing this for Gustav, I'm doing like there's a line that kind of implies that people only care about their, well, it's the relative point of view they have. Like, you care about who you care about, and
I'm doing it for my mom.
I'm doing it for me. Yeah, I'm doing it for my personal reasons.
It's not even your mom, actually.
So like that, there's a line that comes out of someone's mouth that just straight up says that.
And like the argument between Renoir and Verso, Renoir isn't real. Like, Renoir, the villain for most of the game, was made to be that way.
So this is where the confusion that I need more context, and I guess we'll find out later, is the fake Renoir versus the real one. And the idea of the mean one is how she thought of him, but he was still acting, you know?
It is
against her interests.
The trick is that like the Clea and the mom, like, this is an unflattering portrait of Renoir.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Like, you would think that the only thing she did was she completely copied Renoir exactly. His soul, his mind, how he would do everything. The only thing she changed is his situation. Is she took him from over here and put him over here. And the insane destructive drive that I have to protect my family no matter what is which family? Is it the real family out in the real world, or is it the real family in the fake world that's not real?
I didn't get that vibe from when we met him there. But like more, I feel like context will come from furthering that conversation. I'm
like Renoir, painted Renoir is, I have to protect my family. I will do literally anything to protect my family.
Yes, he keeps talking about that. Yes,
including killing
everyone in this. It doesn't
matter.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Real Renoir is, I will do anything that it can do to protect my family, including killing everyone in this setting, including you, Verso.
And
because you're painted also.
And so the thought is that, like, because this is where that line comes in, where he's like, he wants his wife and child back, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's an unsaid, but perhaps part of this conversation is he doesn't consider any of this to be real.
No,
like,
it's nonsense. It's fake.
Exactly. And that is the big disagreement point, where it's like, for those that look at this as just a channel for grief and none of it matters, who cares? They're in the real world, and it's incredibly self-destructive. Shut the fucking Minecraft server down. I don't give a shit. What the fuck are you talking about?
And Mael is over here going, no, it's real to me!
Because I lived it, and I literally have 2 memories of this moment, you know, that are equal. They're fighting each other in their importance. It's like, oh, the power of this thing can't be overstated, because if you can come out of that as a painter and be like, I care just as much for what's in here, that is real, you know?
The other thing it's not clear, it's really not clear, but like Aline and Renoir and Clea and Alicia outside the painting don't age. It is unknown to me how much time is taking place there and how much time is taking place here.
Well, I mean, when they talk about hundreds of years or thousands or whatever, and it's
but that's in the painting.
I go paint time is different. That's what I'm assuming, right?
It has to be.
Yeah, of course, right? You can't sit there and not eat forever and just go,
yeah.
Right? So yeah, we'll find out and all that, but no, and Clea's like kind of like hard ass sort of nature of things, being super practical.
She's the golden child. She's the eldest.
You're like, okay, you're being pragmatic, but that's not what the situation calls for. And the fact that when you talk to her at the fucking tower and you're just like, you're like, there's a point early on where you're kind of like, I hear what you're saying, but you can be a little more sympathetic, and now you're like, nah, fuck you. Like, I've turned, you know. Yeah, so we'll see where this goes, but we'll leave it there for now. Act 3 on its way.
I will say it does feel development-wise that the game was built in a certain way that, like, most of Act 3 either didn't exist or it didn't exist at all, and you were just going to go right from Act 2 right into Old Lumiere and fight Renoir, or a lot of this shit was mainline, like critical path. Like, Reacher is the most critical path thing ever. It should be the location you go to right after Act 2. I can't believe it's optional. But it ends up feeling like the World of Ruin. It ends up feeling like they ended up with a lot more time to make a lot more game. And we're like, okay, here's a battle tower. Here's this extra dungeon. Here's this dungeon. Here's Renoir's drafts.
Go wander around and find. Yeah. I'm waiting to find out the deal about Verso and the like what actually went down, to see, it's like, why is she treating Alicia like such a piece of shit? What did she do? How bad?
Go beat the Reacher.
How bad was it? Right?
That is that.
Because it really feels like it's like,
because you talked to Mael and she asked the most important question of the game, which is like, why did Mom draw me scarred up from the fire still?
Okay, yeah. So
everybody gets to be their best selves except for me.
You know, and I'm kind of in the dark on that right now. So yeah, we'll have to go learn. But the impression is you're like, she's being fucking insufferable to her.
Family fucking sucks.
Family is complicated.
And they created an entire matrix like universe of people to dump their trauma onto forever.
Also, we have magical, godlike, deific powers as artists. Nah, I want to play piano, though. But you're from the
It really shows off, you know, like, hey, why? Like, because the world is so strange and so slapdash and so broken apart and all that. And it's like, oh, it's an amateur. This is what an amateur would paint.
Man.
This is like a 12-year-old shot. And like, you see what Mom paints, you see what Dad paints, you see what Clea paints, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
Verso didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
No, like, you know, you got the Father and the Holy Spirit being all up in the business of creation, and then JC is like, man, I want to go DJ. Actually,
there's one of the manor doors you can find leads to a dial. It says unknown, but it's Renoir talking, right? One of his little audio.
Oh yeah, I found that one. I found it. Yeah,
and he starts talking about how like
art, what art
paint,
is. Yeah,
there's
yeah,
an order in the world and everything means something. And like they all just stand around talking about how like Renoir is that kind of asshole who does not understand that you could paint just to do it, just to make happy little trees and a nice sunset. Everything has to mean something and it all has to be so fucking deep. And the characters are all like, oh.
And you learn that Aline is actually the talented one and that she taught him.
Yeah. And that's why
he's not even that guy. It's her.
That's why it's not a spoiler to tell you, but like Renoir is like a joke compared to fighting Aline. Like even with the damage cap still on, like he's not his wife.
It's
like
so funny.
She's the talent.
It's so funny. She taught him and he's all waxing poetic, you know. Wonderful so far. We'll like,
game's incredible.
We'll see where we go from here. All right, Spoilercast over. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye-bye.